Tonight on Faux News, President Hanley 3 months in. What's changed? An outbreak of communism on a small farm. Our investigative journalist Arian Sheehy looks at the newest drug that is killing your kids. Good evening, I'm Hora Latiman. 3 months after his election, has President Hanley lived up to his promises? Rainbow Macmillan reports.
People have hoped things would have improved after the newly elected President Hanley, but we can show you that only 3 months into the campaign, public opinion has turned against him. What's your opinion on President Hanley?
I think he's a great man.
He couldn't come up with a feasible answer for this question.
What is your opinion of President Hanley?
President Hanley does not care about dogs. He ran over my dog, and then, delighting in that, he got out of the car and started chopping him into bits and laughed to his bloody axe. Ha 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 ha. And I just don't think a man who can be so callous, so cruel and vicious to dogs, has the right to be president. He shouldn't be holding public office, and he needs to resign.
I don't know, he's some crazy ass guinea.
Of President Hanley?
I have no strong feelings, one way nor the other.
So what is your opinion of President Hanley?
I saw him skulking around with bins.
His bins?
I'm thinking there's a raccoon or something out there, And I go to the window, I can just see President Hanley, full presidential gear, just going mad in my bins.
And what was he trying to find in your bins?
I don't know. I think he was looking for food or something. He knocked them over, and they called animal control, but he was gone by the time they got here. So
Wow, shocking.
must have just been out for treats or something.
I know for a fact President Hanley parties with Gaddafi and Chris Brown. He touched my sister.
Some members of the public have clearly been intimidated into silence and are afraid to speak to the press. Later I spoke to the President about these allegations.
President Hanley, have you anything to say against these allegations that have been made against you?
I think these allegations are actually quite humorous. I think I'm doing a very good job here, Rainbow, and I think I'm doing my best to serve the people.
Would you like to make a formal apology to those you've hurt and upset?
I don't want to make a formal apology to anybody. I think I've been working as hard as I can to do a job for these people, and I think they should appreciate that.
I believe you were out last night. You turned up 2 hours late for this interview.
I'm a very busy man.
Drinking, partying?
I have to...
Do you think these are the standards that a president should meet?
I think a president should meet up with those who elected him in and find out what's important to them. And I was out. I was trying to figure out what was important to the young public.
And what did you figure out?
I figured out that they place a high value on alcohol and sex and drugs. And I think that we should further these ends. I appreciate them.
Will anybody think of the children? I'm Rainbow Macmillan, reporting for Faux News.
There are reports communism has broken out on the small holding of Manor Farm in the north of England. Although this has only come to light now, it seems that the movement has been forming for quite some time. The name of the holding has been changed to Animal Farm, and several pigs have taken control of operations. A communist regime is said to be enforced by a pig named Snowball. Though they reportedly have a very liberal constitution, there have been accusations of gross abuses of power levelled by local farmers. Now, with the special report on the subject, we have Pat Bogger. Before we continue, I warn you that this image is disturbing.
Beginning with a revolt some months ago against a fair and hard-working Mr. Jones, the animals of Manor Farm took control and began implementing the ideas of animalism, a version of communism that adapted from the ideas of an elderly pig. The farm has since been renamed Animal Farm. The original leaders of this Animal Farm are 2 young pigs by the name of Snowball and Napoleon, though there has since been reports that Snowball was ousted by Napoleon in a coup involving farm secret police. The dogs. Though initially food was plentiful and the farm ran smoothly, the leaders of this supposedly free farm soon began taking special luxuries for themselves. Some say that the farm is now only able to run by taking advantage of the only workhorse, Boxer, who has been so badly psychologically manipulated, he now mindlessly repeats the maxim, "I will work harder." There has already been one purge of the animals made, making reporters draw parallels with the communist regime of Stalin in Russia. The animals' poor memories are abused by Squealer, the mouthpiece of the pigs, who invents false information to show improvement.
I am Pat Bogger. Joining me here in the studio today is Mr. Whymper, representative of Animal Farm. Mr. Whymper, I would like to start by asking you about the accusations that this is not just a case of a few bad apples in a new regime starting off. This is a case of orchestrated manipulation of honest, hard-working animals into subservient positions.
These animals aren't being asked to do anything that isn't natural of them. They're asked
Are animals equal on this farm?
Every animal has to do their own work.
Well, does this work involve, say, a horse doing 10 times as much work as a pig? Or, say, an animal being paid half as much, 1 apple as opposed to 3?
Animals are only...
Hey, shut up. Are animals equal on this farm?
Every animal gets what they're...
Okay, let me ask you another question. What about accusations that pigs were playing poker while a horse was sent to the vet?
Other
or the
farmers-
glue maker, even, to pay for this?
Other farmers...
Hey,
would
shut
have
up,
their
shut up.
pigs.
Why were the pigs playing poker?
These pigs...
No, hang on. I don't want to hear about the pigs. I want to know why they were playing poker while other animals suffered. Well, an honest, hard-working American horse worked hard all his life, fought in 2 wars. Why
This
was he
isn't
being sent to the
America.
glue? That's a non-issue. That's a non-issue. Let's get to the issues at hand. This is a communist regime. What have you got to say to that?
I say that...
What about links to Stalin? What about the links to Al Qaeda?
What links?
What,
Don't
we have very reputable sources
bombs,
bringing in.
but-
Some say there are links to terrorism.
There are no links to terrorism.
What about the picture that Al Qaeda sent around of them fostering a wheel?
I'm done here. Come back here.
Animal Farm offered no further comments following this interview. A new drug has hit our streets. Red Bull addiction is rising. Arian Sheehy investigates.
For my report, I met David, a young man whose energy addiction has left him with nothing but his sweet, precious Red Bull. I was struck by his shaking hands and hugely unfashionable clothing.
Hi, how are you? Arian Sheehy, nice to meet you.
Red Bull.
You alright there?
Go.
So, tell me how you started using.
Well, I used to just drink it after parties when I was hungover, so I couldn't make it into college. But next thing you know, I was like drinking it just to get out of bed every day. I was, started drinking. I was vomiting on my boss, getting fired from my job. Now I can't think of where the next can going to come from.
David's original drink of choice was Red Bull, which is of course the market leader. But he's since moved on to the likes of Red Alert and Shark, which are cheap knockoffs. They're much more unhealthy and really just not something that humans should be consuming anyway.
In order to try and immerse myself in this culture, I decided to experience the drug for myself. It was like a sugary explosion of addictive additives in my mouth.
Oh wow, I'm not feeling this at all.
Let's get it. It's good, isn't it?
I just gotta get the suit. Just getting out of here.
I was running for 6 hours.
Now, Red Bull's marketing campaign states that it gives you wings. So just how many Irish people have wings? Well, at the end of the last financial year, it outsold even the sugar giants of Coke and Pepsi.
Medical research is at an early stage, but Red Bull has been linked with conditions such as elephantitis and webbed toes. In fact, some doctors have even stated that it should be renamed to Ebola Cola.
So, how can we tell if our children are using Red Bull?
Oh, well, there are 3 ways of telling. There's fingernails. Are they bitten? Are they worn? That's usually a sure sign. Also, their skin color. I mean, if they're yellow, they probably have liver failure, which is, associated with jaundice, so that's another one. And the music they listen to. Have they switched from YouTube to Hard House Rave? That's the surest way of all of telling.
And finally, the dead are rising. Kenneth Sullivan is on scene.
What? Get away from me! No! Hey! No!
And that's all for Faux News. Good night.